E3 has had a somewhat tumultuous past since its debut in 1995, but has ultimately came out on top as the premier video gaming convention. While Nintendo and a few other industry veterans have chosen to withhold their big announcements for somewhere away from the E3 stage, it's really become a must for all major developers to have some sort of presentation every year. Last year, in 2017, the floor was opened up to the public for the first time, and thus brought the largest amount of media attention ever seen at any type of video gaming convention. One of the biggest headlines to come out of last year's E3 was just this argument that Nintendo had completely swept the floor with everyone else's presentation at the conference, and this really was true. This was actually the time where I personally decided to start making videos about the Switch. It was just too big and too strong of hype to not be a part of that conversation, and here I am still a year later. But just judging off of last year's presentation and the fact that we really know nothing about what games are coming in the second half of 2018, this year's Nintendo E3 presentation is set up to be the best that we've seen yet. In this video, I'll be listing out my predictions chronologically in the order that I think they'll be presented. Before I start, I'd just like to take a look at last year's presentation and point out that there were a total of 10 games presented across the 24-minute presentation, and literally half of those games were completely new announcements. I think that we'll get some type of left field announcement like Metroid or Pokemon was last year in this year's presentation, but I don't expect to see as many completely new announcements because last year was just ridiculous and we have to temper our expectations. So starting off, we'll get a competitive type presentation covering Mario Tennis Aces and the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. I don't think they'll focus too much time on these two as they'll both be coming out within the month of this presentation, but I think we'll get something like a new Switch trailer, maybe with some Nintendo Switch Online details, along with some minor information about those two games, maybe like the official release date for Octo expansion. I know it was leaked that it'd be coming out July 13th, but they haven't officially announced that yet, or maybe we'll get the final character reveals for Mario Tennis Aces. There have been multiple seemingly credible leaks regarding characters for Mario Tennis Aces, but all of them point in different character directions, so it's starting to become a question to me whether there are even any more additional characters than what we know of, but if there are, I could totally see them being a focal point in this presentation. I can also see them announcing a test tournament period for Mario Tennis Aces like we got for ARMS and Splatoon. They confirmed that this would be happening before the game comes out, and it's bound to get announced here if the test doesn't happen in May. Last year, they really didn't focus a whole lot on the two most immediately releasing games, so I really don't think they're going to spend a huge chunk of time on Octo expansion or Mario Tennis Aces. After those two, we'll get some new trailers for games that we sort of knew were coming, but not officially. The first trailer I think we'll get is for Fire Emblem, which will probably be nothing but a cinematic type of trailer with no gameplay at all. And I also don't think we'll get a release date either. We still haven't seen absolutely anything about this game, so I think with this first reveal that we see, they'll just show off how good the character models look in cinematics and just slowly start to introduce the story. Maybe we'll get a fall 2018 confirmation or a window type of thing. I can see this coming out in either September or October, depending on when Smash comes out, but I don't think we'll be getting an official release date until 1 or 2 months before its release. Following Fire Emblem, I think that we'll see a full trailer for the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle Donkey Kong DLC. This was previously announced to be arriving in spring of 2018, but at this point, I think it's safe to assume that we're not getting it until at least the summertime. I don't think they'll focus on it for too long, but we'll definitely get to see some gameplay of what Donkey Kong himself actually looks and plays like in the game itself, and maybe a new character reveal as well, like Diddy Kong or a new Rabbid hybrid. If we don't get this, perhaps we'll get some new Mario Odyssey DLC announcement, or maybe a more in-depth Octo expansion look, but there's bound to be some sort of DLC section in this presentation. Once the DLC presentation is over, I'd really like to see a final Octopod Traveler trailer. I'd say this has about a 50% chance to be shown, just because they've already shown so much about this game recently, but I can definitely picture one big final trailer to really showcase the game. Perhaps they'll reveal the final 4 or maybe just 2 class choices. We sort of know what they look like from the box art, but we don't know the official names yet, so there's still some new stuff to be revealed there. I've been hyper anticipating this game for the better part of a year now, so I'd be happy to see it shown, but I know that that is not a largely shared opinion, and I wouldn't be super disappointed since we already know so much about this game. Towards the middle of this thing, I think we're going to see some big, unexpected third-party title announcement. The obvious choice that I came up with is Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. We already know about this game, it's an upcoming Switch exclusive, but I can definitely see a release date being announced here. Because of the Switch exclusivity, Nintendo has really latched itself onto this title, and I can see them letting it have a spot in this presentation. We already got one gameplay reveal trailer in the March Direct, but there's a total of 7 different game titles that Travis can play through within this game, and not all of them were showcased in that trailer, leaving some exciting new stuff to be shown at E3. If the big third-party news isn't Travis Strikes Again, it's really anyone's bet. Bethesda, Ubisoft, Bandai Namco, and many other major third-party developers have been rumored to have new Switch exclusives on the way, and I've narrowed down my pipe dreams to 2 games that we kind of know about, but haven't really seen anything about for a while. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was re-announced last year at Ubisoft's E3 presentation, with really no gameplay or cinematic footage at all, sort of similar to the Metroid Prime 4 announcement. Pretty much nothing about it is known, except for the fact that it's in development, and even the platforms that it's going to be released on are still sort of unsure. I wouldn't say it's necessarily likely that it becomes a Nintendo Switch exclusive, but I think it would be awesome, and what better way to announce that than at Nintendo's E3 presentation? Ubisoft does indeed have their own presentation, but if it was somehow a Switch exclusive, we'd definitely see it at Nintendo's. The second, and maybe more likely prediction that I have for a major third-party Switch exclusive to be announced is Shin Megami Tensei. This game was actually one of the first games to be announced to be on Nintendo Switch when the system was officially revealed in January of 2017, and following the 25th anniversary of the series in October, the official title was announced as Shin Megami Tensei 5, along with another small, sort of cryptic cinematic trailer. The game was confirmed to be in full swing development around this time, and now 7 months later, it's bound to be at least almost complete. This series is developed by Atlus, who really have no other big games being developed right now, so we've got to assume that this Switch exclusive is their top priority and bound to come out within the next 1 or 2 years, and what better way to announce it than at E3. Following the big third-party announcement, I think they'll give us something else that we knew was coming but forgot about, being Yoshi. We've gotten no trailers whatsoever for this game this year, so we'll probably get some sort of big, fun-to-watch animated cinematic trailer similar to the Kirby Star Allies intro, along with some new gameplay that showcases some type of feature that we don't know about yet. Then of course we'll get the official title, and the release date being sometime in August is my assumption. Since the Switch was released, Nintendo has tried to put out a first-party title every single month, and currently they have no plans for August, so considering how close this game must be to done, it sounds like the perfect candidate to me. Towards the end of the presentation, I do believe that we're getting a Bayonetta 3 trailer. I don't think this is going to be a huge trailer with gameplay and a release date and all the bells and whistles, but just something like a cinematic trailer showing off Bayonetta's new look in this game, along with maybe a few returning faces, just to get us excited that it's coming. Like I said, I don't think that we'll get a specific release date yet, but I can definitely see them teasing a window, maybe like fall 2018 or Q4 2018, something like that. Besides Bayonetta, there's got to be some sort of big, unexpected first-party game here. I think that Nintendo had every intent to get Pokemon and Metroid out this year, but when they figured out that it just couldn't happen, they hit the panic button, and that panic button included Super Smash Bros. Alongside another big first-party game. I have some preferences here. For example, I'd really like to see a new Star Fox or Kid Icarus game. Both of these franchises are very beloved due to their earlier iterations and their inclusion in Smash Bros, but have really gotten lackluster first-party games over the last 10 years. The Switch iterations are bound to be great if they actually happen, but there's really no clues that we can follow to that conclusion yet. One game that might be a little more likely to make an appearance here is Wave Race. This is a series that hasn't seen an official release since the GameCube days, but as I stated in a recent video, the lead developer of this series actually teased that he might be working on a new one. While I would really love to see a Switch Wave Race as well, I think there's some other Nintendo IPs that have a better chance of being first up. Animal Crossing has become probably the most wanted Switch game that the internet wants next on this system. In spite of the lack of credible information pointing to a new Animal Crossing title, YouTube and the rest of the internet is flooded with videos talking about how it is, without a doubt, for sure, coming in 2018. The Animal Crossing rumor mill is massive and really only second to the current Pokemon rumor mill right now. But how many of these rumors should we actually take into account? Well, really the only reason to say this is coming is that the mobile game Pocket Camp was released last year, and while Nintendo doesn't have a huge history of linking their mobile games to their traditional systems, they actually did just renew their trademark of Animal Crossing this year for purposes of all home console games, portable games, and smartphone games. This was basically the release and the big rumor that caused all this Animal Crossing bonanza. Even this really doesn't confirm anything though, but with a grain of salt, I guess it makes the argument a little stronger for Animal Crossing being first in line for a new Switch game in front of those other of the majority of Nintendo IPs. The absolute most likely but unexpected first-party game to be announced for this fall is Pikmin 4. The game was confirmed to be in development way back in 2015, and while we might have to account for the fact that it probably wasn't developed initially for the Switch, some form of this game has to be near completion. Pikmin might not be as widely recognized as someone like Mario, but it's still one of Nintendo's temple franchises and was even created by Shigeru Miyamoto, who was also the creator of the Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, and Donkey Kong series, and those aren't even the only ones. Pikmin 3 has some of the best co-op gameplay on the Wii U, and I think focusing on that aspect in the Nintendo Switch iteration will really make for a really fun game. I can see a full cinematic trailer being shown here with some gameplay sprinkled in as well, along with a release window for this game. I definitely picture this game as one of the major releases in either November or December, but it probably won't be revealed until later this year. And of course, the last thing that we'll see is a big cinematic trailer for Super Smash Bros., followed by a significant amount of gameplay, most likely showing off the new Breath of the Wild Link, the new Mario, and the Inkling kids, with at least one new character reveal here as well. I just rewatched last year's presentation, and when the Mario Odyssey trailer came on at the end with the T-Rex, I literally almost teared up. I am not kidding you. And I'm expecting that same amount of epicness and eventual nostalgia that will fill my heart when I watch it to be in this new Smash Bros. Trailer with very high production and attention to detail. This game is all but confirmed to be playable on the floor at E3, so I know that there's going to be a lot of details revealed here. I just hope that they take the time to make the trailer very watchable and high quality, even though they know we'll be excited about the game either way. Almost every single industry in existence has some sort of big event or trade show that they hold each year for the sole purpose of just creating excitement for one another's products. E3 has become that premier event for the video gaming industry and has honestly just become the most exciting time of every year to be a gamer in general. Like I said earlier, last year's Nintendo E3 presentation was exciting enough to make me want to make videos about my Switch every week, and even if none of these predictions come true, I'm sure there's going to be one or two things that get me beyond hyped, and I hope that you're just as excited as I am. Let me know your hopes for this year's presentation down in the comments, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Switch content available. This has been Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.